What's going on YouTube? This is Jim Athanas, aka Viper Magic, and I'm back with another Destiny video. Today, I'll be showing some gameplay footage of my run on Venus to collect Spirit Bloom. Now you'll notice this area, as soon as you spawn in, crack a left. This is over where the world event randomly will occur, one of many actually. I spent a lot of time over here doing the Queen's bounties before they were nerfed to hell. And I find that all these little caves have a pretty good chance of finding treasure chests inside of them, and I've been doing okay with Spirit Bloom. You will see that there's not a lot of natural nodes for it to spawn. There's 3 or 4, at least that I've found, so you're going to be relying a lot on collecting treasure chests. However, I did pretty good today. There are days that get hot and there's days that get cold. This was one of the better days in terms of just actual quantity. In addition, I'll be playing with my scout rifle because I need to get 100 precision kills. So now that they've tweaked weapons a little bit, I thought I'd go back and check it all out. So follow the pattern if you want to learn a little bit more about Spirit Bloom, or at least where to find it, at least my opinion. And yeah, so that's going on in the background. Before I get started today, I wanted to say I am ecstatic because for my anniversary, my 4-year anniversary actually, my lovely wife bought me an anniversary present of the Bose Cinemate GS Series 2 digital home theater speaker system. Now, this thing rocks. It doesn't have the true 5.1 surround sound because it's just a front and a left channel. But oh my God, is the bass on this thing unbelievable. And I can't even begin to tell you guys how many new sound effects I picked up just by having a better sound system. The little tweaks in the game, I can now count out when my Titan charge, when I hit my, when I punch and it breaks out into the third person view, I can tell you when that's going to burn out because there's a distinct whooshing sound that I now hear that I didn't hear before. When I press and hold the triangle to go in or out of orbit, it makes a different noise now because I never heard it before. Not to say the speakers I had before were poor, they were just the TV speakers that I had with my Sony TV, which is pretty nice TV. It's like a 60-inch, but not like these speakers. And wow, the subwoofer on that thing is incredible. When you hear ships come overhead or I shoot my rocket launcher, the freaking windows shake. It is insane. So if you guys got a little extra money to spend and you want some of the best sound in the world, I highly recommend you guys check out these Bose. I'm going to put a link in the description. If you got a great sound system, that's awesome, and I've been missing out, I guess. But I'm glad to be back in the business, as it were. What I wanted to talk briefly about today was the Bungie weekly update for the October 17, 2014. That's what Bungie posts on the website once a week with the community manager, Deej. So he goes off and just either answers questions or just gives some high-level commentary. And I'll also post a link to that in the description. But they wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on the big gun nerf that happened last week. I shouldn't say nerf. Some guns were nerfed, some were buffed. However, this is their big quote. Quote, "Balance is not about everybody being equal, but rather not everyone is doing the exact same thing. If everyone is doing the same thing, something is not balanced. Everyone is trying to pursue the same unbalanced thing." Well, that's a tongue twister, but let's just get down to the meat of this. What they're trying to say is this: if everybody's migrating to a particular gun, it's OP. And as I've said 1,000 times before, and I will say 1,000 times again, when you have an MMO that has any sort of competitive element, even though the Crucible is for the most part standardized, balance is always going to be a tricky issue. If you check out some of my other videos on my channel, you'll see that I've just jumped back into World of Warcraft in anticipation of the Warlords of Draenor patch, or expansion rather, that's coming soon. And it's a culture shock for me coming back for so long. So a game that I've been pretty intimately involved with since day one, that being Destiny, I can already see these changes starting to occur, and they're not going to stop. As it stands right now, and I talked about this previously as well, but the auto rifle is now decreased by 2%. And basically they felt that the task of the auto rifle should be for people who like to spray and pray and who prefer medium to close range, but they don't want it to be good at long range. So they did say that stability and damage adjustments may continue to occur. Now, as a caveat, this is going to be far from perfect, and they're going to swing both ways wildly. And it's going to happen. You know, there's going to be the great nerf of this and the great buff of this. This happens in MMOs, and you got to get on board. And you know, it's going to balance out as time goes on, where they're going to get a little smarter about some guns are better than others, and some are worse and better than others. But it's going to be a process, and the only way to get that is to get data. And I know people like to go on the forums and complain about certain guns not doing what they want them to do. And all those are valid rage concerns. The reality is, it's the numbers don't lie. And when these guys see that everybody's using an auto rifle, they're clearly going to have to do something about it. So there's a caveat, just a high level, but specifically, it sounds like they're getting auto rifles more where they want, but they're not quite there yet. Scout rifles were increased by 6%. You see in this video, I've actually started playing with my legendary scout rifle again because I am appreciating that 6% increase. However, you'll see a couple spots in my video where I'm at a pretty long range and the damage drops off considerably. I would expect that to change. I don't think that Blizzard, I got Warcraft on the mind. I don't think the folks at Bungie anticipated that drop off that bad, or maybe they did and they didn't realize it, but it's not that great. And you'll see it. There's some shots at range that it's so weak damage. I understand a scout rifle is not a sniper rifle. However, when you have a single shot semi-automatic type weapon, you need to have, I believe, stronger bullet shots, which they have fixed, but I believe the range needs to increase too. So we'll see. Shotguns have been nerfed, not in their damage, but in their maximum range, which means that the shotgun was less effective the farther along you went away. And there sounds like they're still not happy where they want it to be. So it sounds like shotguns may even get tighter still. Maybe they're not happy with the way they are. I don't know. I noticed a big difference when we were playing some Crucible this weekend. My traditional shotgun and punch combination was not nearly as effective as it had been in the past because I had to get closer. And I did notice enemies that pulled their shotgun at me too close were always on a losing end of engagement with me when I waited to get a little closer. So there is a new finesse level that needs to be kind of filled out, but pretty much shotguns, you got to be right in their junk. And I'm curious to see, although most of the games I played were still shotguns, if this means that the fusion rifle may start to make a comeback, because that power did seem pretty good at all ranges. It was just obviously the trade-off of an instant shot versus that slight spool up. So we'll see how that pans out. So those are the weapon status, and I think they're in a better place now than they were before. But like I said, I think the scout rifle still needs a little bit of TLC. There's a bunch of stuff on the Mythicast this week on the postcards from the vault where they just highlight a particular weapon. They're not happy with what they did. They said they nerfed it too much. They're going back the other way. But you know, when you nerf a gun 34%, what do you expect? I'm sorry. It's that typical rocking the boat in one direction and off to the other direction. They need to clean that up. So, in addition, they were on some podcasts. They've been talking a lot about that. But all in all, I'd say more of a quiet week for the news at Bungie. Short of some of these new videos have leaked of, you know, in new zones, and people found a lot of exploits and falling through the map and going to places they shouldn't be. So, I mean, those are going to pop up periodically. Bungie's going to probably be quiet on those, but I would expect in the very near future for the new DLC to be more fleshed out and talked about, although I think most of us probably have a pretty good idea of what it's going to be about, only because we've seen so much stuff about it. So that'll be interesting to see. So jumping back into it, the speakers made a huge difference because I was kind of quiet on Destiny. I'm getting to that point where a lot of you are. I am just a small amount away from level 28. I did end up getting an exotic helmet, which dropped my score down. I was actually mid 28 going on 29. I dropped down a little bit to retool the exotic, and now I'm working my way back up. I am having a hellacious time getting materials, which I know everybody is, and I understand that materials can't be bought, or they shouldn't be able to be bought, because what ends up happening is people will naturally just hang out in town. Now, as a guy who's been glimmer capped since very early on, because I really don't buy anything, my glimmer goes to waste, except for when I have a holiday with the Cryptarch, and I buy just a ton of random weapons solely to disenchant, solely to boost up my skill, to try to find a legendary to disenchant that to get the Ascendant energy that I need, or the Ascendant Shards that I need. It seems like a kind of a long, convoluted process right now. It seems like there needs to be something done for that. I understand clearly, and I'm seeing this as I get back into World of Warcraft, you need to have a persistent world that players need to go out and explore. If you lose that persistent world, what ends up happening is people just hang out in the tower and don't do anything and just queue up for dungeons, or in this case, just hit the random strikes or whatever. So I understand that there needs to be some reason to go out and explore in the world. I question now, looking at my gear, I did the math on it. I need 134 more helium filaments. I was actually on Venus for my weapon upgrades, but after this video I did complete those. I need 134 helium filaments and 36 Ascendant Shards to fully upgrade my gear, and that'll probably put me pretty darn close to 30. At least high 29. That is insane. I mean, you're talking hours and hours and hours of grinding, and I don't mean grinding in a fun way. I mean just walking around and doing these patrols and hoping to God you find chests or the stack of the item you need. That doesn't even include the non-existent public events, at least in my luck. I know there's a calculator out there that will help you find where the public events are, but yeah, just a little frustrating. I'm a little frustrated with that, and I'm getting to that point where it's that kind of burnout, and there's other games coming along again, so Destiny videos may take a backseat, at least until the DLC comes out, but it is fun to go scratch that itch for a few hours. Maybe not every day, maybe it's going to be more of a weekly thing, because I did this video and I was like, oh, I'm done. I couldn't do it anymore. Did play some Crucible, had some fun with that, but when you're Vanguard level 3, you're just doing it for marks to disenchant, it just kind of turns into a grind fest again. So I feel like the progression has kind of reached a peak for me, at least, and I'm one of those guys that I feel was a really hardcore early adopter of this game. So I don't know if I'm on the bleeding edge or not anymore since I've taken a week or two off. However, I would suspect a lot of people are probably in that boat in their progression, wherever they may be, whatever level they are, where they've kind of hit it all and they're kind of waiting for the next big drop of content to happen or something. Clearly, when the DLC comes out, it will be interesting to see how they handle upgrades because, again, going back to World of Warcraft, as soon as the next expansion comes out, your previous expansion's gear is garbage. So I don't know if I kind of feel like when I grind for hours, yes, I'll be the top of the food chain for the next week or two, but if my theory is correct and the DLC does drop mid-December, early to mid-December, it's going to be for naught, I believe. So anyways, just wanted to get everybody back up to speed on my thoughts on where Destiny is. I still think it's an amazing game. I think I've logged close to, I want to say 200 hours now. It's on the official website. I could probably dig into it, or somebody's going to email me and tell me, you've only played 110 hours, you piece of shit, and that's fine too. I know I've played a long time, and I do love it, and I will. The speakers gave me a renewed sense of excitement as I go off and just shoot everything and just giggle like a 4-year-old when the whole wall shakes because my rocket launcher blew up, which is awesome. But if for the hardcore fans out there, I'm still interested in it, and I'm still going to be playing it. It's just going to take a lot of luck at this point for me to feel like I'm really doing anything short of a few Crucible matches with my buddies and maybe the strike, or jump on for the weekly strike for a few hours. But I am having a lot of fun with Shadow of Mordor right now. I've been bouncing between that and this game, and obviously Warcraft. You'll see more of those videos coming soon. Anyways, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, or do none of the above. That's okay too. And until then, I will see you guys on the other side.